All right, now we're moving on to problems 21 through 28. And 21 through 24 have us factoring like we were on the other one. So I'm looking for two numbers that multiply to equal 16 and add to equal negative 8. Because it has to add to a negative, I'm thinking these are both negative. So negative 16 and negative 1 wouldn't work. It's too big. Negative 8 and 2 would be negative 10. That's not going to work. That leaves me only with negative 4 and negative 4. So I get b minus 4, b minus 4. Negative 4 times negative 4 is 16. Negative 4 plus negative 4 is negative 8. Because they are the same, if you wanted to write it as b minus 4 squared, either of these are acceptable. And again, a little bit later on, we're going to want to write it like that, but for now, this would be just fine. Okay. Over here, we see the 2 in front, and right away that throws a monkey wrench into it. I can't pull the 2 out of all of this like I can with some two-step problems. And so I have to include the 2 in this. And then I'm still looking for numbers that multiply to equal 10, but keeping in mind that whatever number I put here, that number is going to be multiplying the 2 when I expand this out. So if I put a 10 here and a 1 there, that does multiply to give me 10, but 10 times the 2 on the outside would be 20. That's not going to work. If I put the 10 here and the 1 there, I'll have 10 on the inside, and that's already too big. So 10 and 1 isn't going to work. If I try the 5 and the 2, if I put the 5 here, on the outside I'd have 5 times 2, that'd be 10. That's too big. So I really want the 5 here and the 2 here. On the outside, 2 times 2 would give me 4. On the inside, that'd give me 5. Together, that would be 9, and that would work for there. Again, this is one that if it helped you to do it on the box method, then you could put the 2f squared here and the 10 here. You'd put 2f and f, and then you could play around with your numbers until eventually you put 5 here to make 5f in that box and 2 here to make 4f in that box, and then you saw your 9f right there. Okay. Either way, doesn't matter. And again, you're probably just going to see one of those on the test. So we want to know how to do it, but don't get too panicked at this point. Here I see two terms that are subtracting. Anytime we see two terms subtracting, right away we're thinking difference of squares. So I'm saying to myself, well, what times itself would equal m squared? That would be m times m. And what times itself equals 625? Again, that one's big. You can play around some numbers on your calculator, or you can just go to the square root function, and the square root of 625 is 25. So it's plus 25 and minus 25. Okay. And then on this one, again, we have two terms that are subtracting. So right away I'm thinking, well, what times itself equals this? So 64 is 8 times 8. X squared, of course, is x times x. 25 is 5 times 5. And then y squared is y times y. One of these would be plus, one of these would be minus. And there's our answer there. Okay, so those are solved similarly to what we did on the first part. Then below that, it says to factor these two-step equations. So we're going to be able to pull something out first and then factor what's left over. So for this first one, I can pull a 6 out of those. I'd have m squared minus 2m minus 24. Now I'm thinking about two numbers that multiply to equal negative 24 and add to equal negative 2. So there's a lot of numbers that do 24, so you got to be a little patient here. Eventually you'll get negative 6 and positive 4. Negative 6 times 4 is negative 24. Negative 6 plus 4 is negative 2. And then there's our answer. Okay. On this one we can pull a 10 out of x squared minus 16 left over. Again, those are two terms that are subtracting. So I'm thinking right away, well, what times itself equals x squared? X times x. What times itself equals 16? 4 and 4. Make 1 plus, 1 minus, and there's our answer. On 27, everything has a y, so I'm going to pull that y out of y squared plus 3y minus 28 left. I'm thinking now, what two numbers multiply to equal negative 28 and add to equal 3? And 28 doesn't have too many options to it. Eventually you'll find positive 7 and negative 4. 7 times negative 4 is negative 28. 7 plus negative 4 is 3. And there's our answer. Same thing here. I can pull a 4 and a g out of everything there, leaving with g squared minus 2g minus 3. So now I'm thinking, well, what two numbers multiply to equal negative 3 and add to equal negative 2? And then you shouldn't have to think too long. Negative 3 times 1. Negative 3 times 1 is negative 3. Negative 3 plus 1 is negative 2. And there's our answer.